Recording. So officially welcome everybody. Mark Mannering here from Class Training. I've seen some of you before. Most of you though, this is the first time you've attended one of our sessions, one of our live online sessions, and obviously looking at what we got there on screen, Excel 7 Speedy shortcuts. What are they, do you reckon? I mean, there's millions of shortcuts, but why did I pick these 7? If I can show out the right number of fingers. Yeah, they are very practical, streetwise, everyday shortcuts that you will use. It will save you time, but also best practice. It'll make you not just more efficient, but more effective as well. Okay, so we'll get into it now. And just on the screen there, very good. So I'll show up my live Excel in a minute, but just go through a quick intro. So getting the most from the session on the screen there, it says just watch, obviously. What some people do follow along, so just let me know, have you got a second screen so you can do a bit of a play around with me or follow along with me, listen, take some notes as well. The workbook, so every now and again I'll refer to the page in the workbook. There's my workbook. It's just the table of contents, but I'll say, for example, okay, we're up to page whatever, and you can see it's all there. You won't need to write down many notes. Okay, send me questions via the chat. Okay, so that's the way some of you have been communicating now. Just send me a question and I'll say, oh, Jamie's got a great question about Excel, and if it's relevant and if it's quick, I'll answer it there and then. Otherwise, I'll say, well, look, a bit off topic or a bit longer answer, send me an email and I'll get back to you, okay? And that's the screenshot on the right there where you can enter your questions and away you go, okay? Afterwards, as I said, you can email me any questions you might have, and I'll let you know what the email address is very soon, or when we finish at the end. Also at the end, when we finish at the end of the hour, 60 minutes, I'll show you how you get the recording. This is being recorded, this session. So I'll let you know how you get that recording. It doesn't expire. You can watch it at any time and so on. So yeah, more about that later. You can fast forward to the good bits, fast forward to the jokes and all the rest of it. Okay, by the way, I'm going to get rid of my webcam pretty soon because it takes up room. And we just want to look at Excel. So no one's replied back yet. Just anybody reply back. Are you following? Are you just watching? Just so I've got a bit of feedback. Let's keep it interactive. We don't have to have any web. I can't see your cameras and the microphones are turned off. So I don't want people yelling at me. Okay, good. All right, so the table of contents in the book. What are the 7 Speedy shortcuts? I'll just go through them pretty quickly. Anne says, yes, all good for me, Mark. Thank you. Okay, Sarah says a bit of both. Okay, which I presume means you're going to follow along, Sarah, and maybe just watch most of the time. Okay, so this is a summary of the exercises I'm going to go through quickly. Obviously, this is an instant coffee version, people, an instant coffee session of how we run our sessions, how we can do things in Excel and so on. So the first big thing, just very quickly, Speedy shortcut number 1, set up your QAT. It's called, or it's a shortcut for the quick access toolbar. And any of you have been along to our sessions before, we always talk about that. What's meant by the quick access toolbar? Why should I do this? You'll find out. Speedy shortcut number 2, lots of data entry shortcuts in Excel. Save you time, and people go, oh, I was doing it the long way, okay? Now, by the way, Speedy shortcut number 3, that's after number 2, okay? I thought I'd put number 3 after number 2. Okay, because I think that's a funny one. I mean, I thought it was funny. I was there when I said it. Anyway, the jokes get better from here. Lots of shortcuts on navigating and selecting cells. Okay, hi Peter, hi Renee and Nicole. Yeah, just turning up late. Do you have a late note? No, you don't. Okay, good. And by the way, people, a bit hard to keep in touch or interact if you're watching the recording, but please send any comments through and questions in particular. So number 3 there, navigating, selecting cells, lots of shortcuts, how you jump around, how you navigate around your spreadsheet. There are lots of function keys, common function keys. Well, actually, there's only 3 main function keys. You know, the ones across the top of the keyboard, F1, F2, F3, and so on. I'll show you some of those. I use them all the time. Okay, Speedy shortcut number 5, formatting, viewing data quickly. How we view our data very quickly, how we can format it quickly. I don't want to, spend all day making my spreadsheet look presentable. I just want to go home early. So we're going to cover that and so on. Number 6, managing sheets quickly. Okay, we all know about the sheets down the bottom, don't we? Sheet 1, sheet 2. How do you make, I just hit the microphone. How do you make copies of sheets? How do you create or make a copy of your sheet for the next month, the next week, whatever you might be? Lots of shortcuts, okay? And then finally, almost the best one for last, Speedy Shortcut 7, manipulating, fixing data very quickly. And that goes into mainly text and names and product names, people's names, addresses. They might be in the wrong format. Okay, they're not in uppercase, they've got to be in lowercase. I've got to split the names up. You know, you get that sometimes, the first names and the last name is in the one column. Okay, Bill Smith, Tom Jones in the one column. How do you fix that up? How do you spread them out? How do you split them up? You don't use text for columns. I've got a better way to do it. Anyway, we'll get into it. Tracy says, all good now. Thanks, Tracy. And your questions are going to come through. When we finish, people, there's a bit of a quick roundup, action plan, what you receive after today, which is mainly the video, but more about that later, and special offer for other sessions, just for you lovely people out there. You're not going to get out of this easily, okay? You get a set of steak knives and all the rest of it, okay? And by the way, when I shut down the session, if you don't mind, an online feedback will come up automatically just to give me some feedback on what you thought of the session and so on, okay? Special offer, very important. Right, let's get into it. So on page 12 in the book, which just happens to be after page 11, just in case you didn't know, and I'll get rid of the camera. On page 12 is the first one, Speedy Shortcut number 1. Set up your QAT. I'm just going to switch over to my Excel, and there's my Excel, everybody. We're going to look at this thing called the Quick Access Toolbar. It's QAT for short. And by the way, I've already got a file opened up. So I've just got this file, my dummy training file for my session. I just called it Excel, but you can 7, whatever. But you can see it's an Excel file, .xls and so on. Okay, and I've got other things here I'm going to show you later. Now, typically what you need to do is you need to actually access your features, your functions quickly. So you all know we've got the tabs up the top here, home, insert, tabs and form, but you've got to remember where to go. But even if you do remember, you've got to go click view, and I've got to go all the way over here, for example, to macros. Oh, there it is. Why can't I have a shortcut? There's the quick access toolbar, top left of the screen. Okay, that's the quick access toolbar. It's in the top left on the screen by default. Now, I'm going to cut straight to the chase and go straight to the home tab, for example, and I'm going to put a few buttons that are here onto that quick access toolbar for easy reference, easy access. For example, the bold button. I want to get to bold a lot, not have to click the home tab. So what you do is with any button on the toolbar, or sorry, on the ribbon here, this is called the ribbon, by the way. This part's called your ribbon. All you do is right click. You can't just drag it up, unfortunately. So if I go right click, it says add to what? Quick access toolbar. So you thought I was making it up. And I go click on that and it goes up there, B for bold, on the quick access toolbar. Other sessions we run in Excel are to do with pivot tables. So, oh, where's data? Pivot tables, not there. No, insert. Oh, there it is there. Very important way to report your raw data. Well, I don't have to look for it. I've got to go insert. No, you just go on the button you want, right click, add to quick access toolbar. And it goes up on my quick access toolbar very quickly. I've got quick access to it now. There's also a little drop down at the end here. You can see the little drop down at the end. Now that's called the little drop down at the end. There you go. I thought it was funny too. So if I go click on that, this is some other slower ways to add more buttons because I can't find my buttons. These are just a standard list of buttons and functions that you can add. The ones that are ticked here are already there from the defaults. Now there's one there you should be using. Okay, so if I click on email here, I've just gone to the drop down here, right? And I've gone, if I click that, that also puts the button up there to email this file that I've got, and I'll use that in a minute. Okay, in other words, if I click that button, it's going to start up a brand new Outlook email and attach this file, whatever it is, as an Excel file. Bang, go home early. Okay, good, that's what I want to do. But don't forget the shortcut is to go, if I go to View tab, and I want to view full screen or full page or whatever it is, there's normal and so on. I just go right click on that, add to quick access toolbar, and it goes up on the toolbar there. Okay, good. A couple of other little things you can do with the toolbar. I can, as I said, it's by default when you first install Excel, it's in the very top left-hand corner above this ribbon here. okay? But you can move it around. So if I put my mouse on the toolbar itself, okay, so it goes, I just put my mouse on any button here of the toolbar, I go right click, and it says here I can remove that button, but there's the one I want there. Show that toolbar below the ribbon, and I go click, and it's now below the ribbon. Okay, and you can see it's closer to my work area. I've got more room off to the right to add more buttons, which I'm going to do, and I can see each button much more better up, okay, because they've got their own colors and so on. All right, good. Jamie's got a query, just a quick one. Jamie says, wow, do the buttons stay there? Great question, Jamie. Yes, they do. So it's not just for this particular file, although you can do that, but Jamie, in general, when I exit out of Excel, shut down, come back tomorrow, open up a different file or a blank workbook, I'll still have those buttons there in that same position. I don't need to go through all that again. Very excellent, they say. Oh, by the way, Kerry says, I'm following. Very good. Okay, last thing to look at is in this exercise 1 or Speedy shortcut number 1, there's another button that you can add on the toolbar here. Remember this one here? I'll just point to it. It says email as an Excel file. It doesn't say that, but that's what it means. Hi, Georgia, and hi, Katrina, just turning up now. That's okay. You missed the best joke of the day. No, you didn't. Anyway, so good to see you, and away we go. I've just been adding some buttons on the quick access toolbar. You want to review all this again, what you missed, or go over again, just look at the recording. Now, I'll use this now. By the way, that email button there, it just says email when I point to it, but it means email this file as an attachment as an Excel file automatically to an Outlook email with all the tabs down the bottom here. So if I click that now, even though Outlook's not running, I'm going to go click, and in the blink of an eye, hopefully, this is live television, by the way, unless you're watching the recording, there it is there, brand new Outlook email. There's my file attached as an Excel file. I address it as usual, send it off, bang, straight back to work. Okay, and that was it. That was sending that as the actual, they call it the native file, isn't it? The native Excel file. Okay, what else can we do? I'll show you. To add other buttons that you can't normally get to, this is the last bit for this first part, we go right click on any button, right click, which I did before, and I come down here, customize more, it should say, customize more, the quick access toolbar, which I've been doing anyway, but we're going to go in behind the scenes. I'm just going to quickly go click there, come up here, and this is a great big box with lots of options. Down the right here, I've got what's on my toolbar at the moment, on my quick access toolbar. Okay, so I'm going to go here, popular commands. I don't know how they work out what's popular. It's only listing popular commands. I'm going to go to all commands because that will then list all commands. It lists every feature, every function that you can do in Excel underneath in alphabetical order. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so I'm going to go click anywhere and hit the letter A because that jumps to the A section. There's a great button you should use here. What am I doing here? I'm looking for this button and it's called Auto Format. There it is there. Automatically format your spreadsheets with nice colors, backgrounds, make it look more presentable. I don't have time to do it manually. I want to format my template real quick. Double click that. And the other one we want is email again. Okay, I just hit the letter E on the keyboard. Okay, if I'm going a bit fast, just go through the recording there. There it is there. Oh, that's the original email button I just added. It's already on the right there. So that's the same. They're the same. It's already added. But we need that one. Okay, I bet you all do this. I bet you all need to sometimes send off your Excel file just as a PDF. So just people can read it. Okay, this is going to do it. Bang, all in one go. Okay, so all I do is double click that. It goes on the right hand side and you'll see that in a sec how that works. And the other button I reckon you should put there because you do this a lot as well. If I go click, hit the letter P on the keyboard, I jump down, P for what? Okay, I guarantee you will, don't say, no, you're wrong, Mark. I guarantee you'll use this button when I find it. Okay, there it is. It's called Publish as PDF. In other words, save as a PDF. Print or export or whatever you want to call it, save it as a PDF, double click. Because I need to save this sometimes as my own copy of a PDF and so on, and I need to put it somewhere, whatever it might be. If I don't need the PDF, If I don't need a copy, I just need to email it, I'll use that button there, and I'll show you that in a sec. Click OK. Done. There are the buttons I just put on there. Okay, so just quickly again, that button there, just email by itself, start up a new Outlook email and attach it as an Excel file. This one instead, email as a PDF, will just only convert it to a PDF just for that email. It won't save it anywhere. So if I go click, you watch what happens. Bang, and in the blink of an eye, again, live television, come on, computer work, there is good. Okay, nothing up the sleeve, there it is. Again, a brand new email ready to go to someone, and you can tell by the icon, it's been converted automatically just for this email, not stored anywhere on my laptop or OneDrive, SharePoint, cloudy thing, whatever. Okay, just as a PDF. Okay, I hit the escape key or send it off back to work. Another good question from Jamie. Jamie says, does all the file get converted? Yes, it does, Jamie, by default. If I use the email as a PDF, that will convert all of the tabs down the bottom here and put it into the one file, the one workbook. So good question that. So if you didn't want any one particular, or you just wanted one sheet, you'd have to pull it out. Pull out a copy of that sheet, put it somewhere in its own file and just send that off. Okay, this one here looks like a little printer, means save to a PDF. How many times do you have to convert your Word document or Excel file to a PDF? You go File, Save As, muck around that way. No, I go Printer, button, bang, and it comes up, save as a PDF, ready to go. Okay, and that's it. There's some shortcuts to put on your quick access toolbar. Can you give me some feedback and let me know, is that going to be good for you? Is that going to save a bit of time? Whatever it might be. Okay, good. In the meantime, I'll move on. That was number one. Some of the other little exercises are a lot quicker than that. Sarah says, that's awesome. Thanks, Sarah. I love that word, awesome. Sum of all. Nicole says, great. No, sorry, Nicole said, that was very helpful. Thanks. Tony said, great. Anne said, hello again, Anne. She said, we'll save heaps of time, definitely. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention it, I sort of did, but back here in Excel, all this works exactly the same steps. All this works in Word as well. You go right click, add to quick access toolbar, grayed out there because it's already added. If I go right click, add to quick access toolbar, right click the toolbar, customize, go in and find those buttons to email as a PDF or email as a native document. Okay, obviously you won't have this one. You won't have auto format in Word, but it's exactly the same steps. Okay, great. Ariane says, and you make it easy to understand. I don't speak like a silly person, like a nerd. Okay, thanks. And Kerry says, very helpful. Okay, good. Good feedback. I know you're all still awake. All right, good. Let's move on. Some great shortcuts you're going to use all the time for data entry. So page 15. Page 15, by the way, is after page 14. Page 15, and I'm just looking at my table of contents to remind me to do the right thing. Okay, so back here, I'm going to go click and delete and so on and so forth. Sarah says, is it before page 16? Just hang on, I'll find out for you, Sarah, and just bear with me for half an hour. Yeah, now look, Sarah, I'm the one with the silly jokes, the silly dad jokes. Okay, good. So here we go. I've got some stuff here already. Now, if you, by the way, I apologize, but if you are following me through, you probably don't have this file because I just need to use something as an example. So you don't need to use this or something similar. Just have any, if you are following, just open up any sort of blank workbook and so on. Unlike the other sessions we do run, where people do get sent the training files to play with. Okay. So first of all, page 15, data entry shortcuts. It talks about entering the date. So this is my template for my weekly expenses, okay? And what I want to do is have the date come up automatically. I don't want to have to look at the calendar or look at the clock or whatever and type in the date automatically. There's a nice little shortcut. It's actually a formula because I want it to change automatically. Next day, I'll bring this up, the current date showing. And it doesn't matter where you put it. I could put it there, I could put it here, whatever it might be. So if you're following me through, you just click on any cell and here's the formula. It's very simple. Equals, like most formulas start with equals, T, I'll spell it for you, T-O-D-A-Y, equals today. Open the brackets, close the brackets. Because as you all might know, all built-in formulas in Excel have open closing brackets. equals today. Okay, there you go. If I press enter, up comes today's date, the 10th of November, 2020. Okay, and that will change tomorrow. If I save this because it's my template and I bring it up tomorrow, that'll say the 11th, the 12th, whatever day it is. Okay, and by the way, as a little extra shortcut, if I go right click on this, this is where you should use this shortcut all the time. I go right click down to format cells, and I can change the date format if I want the word November to show up, or NOV for the abbreviation, whatever. Okay, so there's your first little thing with that exercise. Put the date in there. Okay, automatic sequence, it says there. Now, you all might probably know this, but for example, with my weekly expenses, I'm going to track my expenses for the car and all that for the whole week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or we'll just go to Saturday. We'll just go to Saturday. Forget about Monday. Okay, and as most of you should know, there's Monday. I'll put Monday, the first one in. And as you should know, you don't have to type in manually Tuesday, the next day, which is obviously Tuesday, the next day, which is Wednesday, the next day. What do we do there? Most of you would say, oh, you just drag from the first one, whether it's the first day or the first month. Okay, it's called an automatic sequence. It fills a series for you. But you've got to be careful. You don't just go drag. If I just go drag from Monday like that, bang, well, I just did it. I just dragged from Monday, then you're not going to get, it doesn't get the answer. Okay, you don't get what you want. So I go click, and as you might know, you go to the little, what's that called again? The little Duvallaki thingy. It's called the Duvallaki thingy. Okay, it appears every time you click a cell. So when I click any cell, even if it's blank, there's a little dot. Okay, technically called, I'll type it in, it's technically called the fill handle, where you use, it's a handle to fill things like days of the week, months of the year. So as you know, probably know, you go click onto that little fill handle. When it's a plus sign like that, then you go click and drag out, bang, let go, and you get the days of the week. Or you get the months of the year, if the first thing was the month and whatever it might be. Now, most people know that in Excel, that you can drag that out from there, it finishes the pattern. Okay, good. A lot of people don't know though, this is important, a lot of people don't know that when you do that, doesn't matter what the example is, you get a little pop-up button here. That came up automatically. Did you miss it? You missed it, didn't you? Okay, good. I'll do it again. So if I go MON, by the way, it doesn't matter how I type it in, as the abbreviation all capitals, I go click on the fill handle, drag it out, and I should get up to Saturday all in capitals. Yeah, good. But there's the little button that just pops up automatically. See that button that pops up? That's called the button that pops up. Write that one down. And when you click on that, then it just gives you options. The top two are the main ones that we use. It just gives you options on how that's dragged out with the fill handle. So if I click on copy cells like that, then instead I might have wanted, oh yeah, I just want to copy it. Monday, 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 just like the song. I won't start singing. Okay, so instead of the sequence being completed, you might think, no, I didn't want that. I want it all February, January, July, whatever, Tuesday, all copied across. Okay, sometimes it doesn't, it's not what you want. Notice how the button stays there. So I can go back, bang, and change my mind. Yep, I do want the days of the week. There you go, all done. Okay, good. And a couple more things, moving right along with number 2 still, entering data quickly. Now, you've all done this before, but I guarantee almost you haven't used this shortcut. Okay, so this is on page 16. Now, what we're talking about is typing the figures in. Okay, so as you know, you click there, you type in the number, right? 30 in my example. You've done this before, press enter. I bet you've all done that before. Drinks, what about drinks on Monday? Well, that was a big night. So $500, whatever. So you type it in, press enter, but notice how it moves down. It moves down by default. So if I type in 30, enter, 40, enter for food, 30, very cheap rent, for rent, 30, it just keeps going down, doesn't it? That's the default. The box, after you press enter, moves down. And you've got to go click on the next part so you can type in the next bit. So 40, 60, whatever. Okay, it's moving down. You go, oh, look, and I've got to go click on Wednesday again. Okay, good. And this is easy to enter the data, but, oh, gee, I forgot to go click here and go delete. Just watch me here, go click. Oh, okay, you've all done that before. Okay, good. Here's the shortcut. You watch this. Watch me first, and I'll start again. Okay, to prevent all that, to allow Excel or to make Excel move to wherever you want, you block the cells out first. You highlight them first. So if I know the figures are going to go here, I'm going to go click and drag, as you've done a million times, but you select the blank cells like that, get the mouse out of the way. Now I type in my figures and press enter. And as I press enter and keep going to the bottom there, notice what's happening when I press enter. See the little white cell? Now that's called the little white cell. That's moving around for me. Okay, I don't have to worry about it. I just copy off the bit of paper. I get to the end and I go 40, whatever it is. And that's the last one there for Saturday. I press enter after typing the number. Press enter, bang, starts all over again. Sarah says, wow. Sarah says, wow, in capital letters, uppercase letters, she put this. I love that, that's good. Sarah, don't send any money, there's more. Okay, so next week, Sarah, this is just for Sarah now. If I go, right, I need to put some new figures in, I just go click and drag, and I type over it. Hooty hoo, Glenn says, 90, okay, 100. See, I just type over it. Oh, hang on, no, that's the same as last week, that's the same, I'm just pressing enter. I'm not using my arrow keys. If I use the arrow keys, I lose the selection. I've got to start again. Okay, so only enter will move down. Now, if you're writing down notes, write this one. I can't remember if it's in the book or not. What happens if I just press enter? It moves down through the block. I press enter, it moves down. What if I press shift enter? Hold down the shift key, press enter. Okay, I'm holding down the shift key now, it's going backwards. Makes it much easier to set up my data. Okay, good. All right, and the last little bit is, this is part of data entry, okay, versus budget. I've got there, you can see how I've got the two words underneath each other. I've already done it for that one. Okay, most of you would know that's called text wrap. Text wrapping, you know, like I was walking down the street and I said, and that's not a very good wrap, is it? And it's not a chicken wrap either. So most people would know that you type in the words, whatever you want, maybe it's 2 or 3 words, and you want them to wrap inside the one cell, making the row go taller like it has here. Okay, and most of us know that we just use the wrap text up here. There's wrap text to make it, if that wasn't wrapped, if I take that off, okay, it goes back to being sort of, you know, off into the wilderness. I just put it back on again, okay. But here's a shortcut. Here's a shortcut to doing it totally. So if I put here, if I said I want to put in, what, actuals versus budget, okay. So if I type it in normally, actuals versus budget, it's going to spill out, isn't it, to the other side, okay. It's going to spill out over to there. By the way, I'm just going to delete that one just for the time being, okay. Delete that row. Column, so I'll come back to it. So if I go click and just type it in, actuals versus budget, then I press enter, right? Enter like that, it just goes across, it spills across, and you got to go click and wrap text. Okay, good. I'll give you a shortcut. Delete, start again. So instead, we go this way. If you're following me, you can. So on any cell, you type in, what was it? Actuals, so I go actuals versus, V for versus. Now I want the line break there. There's going to be a line break to make the next word wrap underneath it, and it's called Alt Enter. So if I hold down the Alt key, ALT on your keyboard, press Enter, like that. Okay, now that's automatically made a second line. It doesn't look like it, but it is. It looks like it's underneath, doesn't it? No. When I press Enter by itself, you watch this, it's now made that wrap. The text is wrapped and the row's gone higher and so on. So if you know where you want to break that heading, that title, you just go Alt, Enter, and away you go. Any questions on that? Okay, good. Let's move back to up to here and go back to there. Glenn says hooty hoo. Oh, that's from before, sorry. Okay, good. All right, number 2, and lots of other little, there's stacks more shortcuts when you want to enter your data. Okay, as I said, some of these other ones are pretty quick. Right, moving right along. So I just gave you a 4.5 second break there. Navigating and selecting cells. So I'm going to try and I only got this second camera today, so I'm going to try and swap cameras so you can see my keyboard in a minute, so you know what I'm doing a bit more. Okay, back to here. So we're going to select, first of all, navigating cells. Okay, now all that means is on page 19, navigating cells just means how you navigate, how you jump around your spreadsheet. So I can go click here, home, or A1, I can go click with the mouse. You've all done that before. Click here, click there. Okay, but you can also use familiar or common shortcuts like Control Home. If I just hold down my Control key and go home like that, okay, then it comes up with the thing. It goes straight back to there. Okay, now I'm going to try and go to my webcam, and you can probably, hi there, I'm still here. You can probably see that. I'm going to go back and try and swap over to the other camera. That's there, okay, which is that one. All right, so hopefully now you can see my keyboard and my fingers sort of waving at you. Just Glenn, you were my little thing before, my assistant before, so just say yes. You can see the keyboard now. Can you see my keyboard? Okay, and then we'll keep going. All right, so if I go Control key here, Glenn says yes, thank you, good. It works, it does work. I finally made something that works. Anyway, I go, finally I meant to say, Control Home, back to the top. So there's my keyboard, Control Home, and it goes to A1. Control End on the keyboard, jumps over to here where the data finishes. Control Home, Control End will jump to the end of your information. If I go to here, just have a look here, I've got some more data here, months and data and so on. So Control Home takes me to the top. Okay, but if I want to look down the bottom, I don't want to scroll down to see all my data. I just go Control End, if you can see it over here. Control End on the keyboard, bang, straight to the bottom of the data. Control Home, back to the top. So very standard, very straightforward. You can do that in Word as well. Control Home, Control End. Okay, but here's another great shortcut, moving along a bit with this one, selecting cells. I guarantee you're going to use this one. You can still see my keyboard. Okay, so for example, I want to make all this data here, all these numbers here. I want to make them bold or pink or yellow or whatever. You've got to select them first, don't you? Okay, so if I go with the mouse, you go click and drag, and you select with the mouse like that. Oh, gee, I don't know. Oh, there it is. I got it. Okay. I don't like using that. I don't like dragging with the mouse because, hey, man, it's a real drag, man. It's a drag, isn't it? Okay, you got to go click and drag, okay, with the mouse. Also over here, if I go to this other one, how many times have you had to try and select a whole stack of numbers? So I've got to click here, and I've got to go all the way down. Just bear with me here, but you've never done this before. This has never happened. Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far. I'll just come back up again. Oh, bloody Excel. Oh, I didn't go far enough. No, not going to use that ever again. Dragging with the mouse. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go click on the first one. So you can try this if you've got some sort of a file opened up. And all we do, and you can see in front of my little keyboard here with my peace sign. We all see that again. I don't know what vintage you all are, probably a bit older or a bit younger than me, but amen, peace, baby, peace and love. So we all go like that, peace and love. And with our peace sign, hold down Control and Shift. Okay, hold down the Control and Shift together, leave it held down, and you hit the arrow keys on the far right here. So if I go right arrow, bang, done. Let go of the Control Shift keys. It's selected to where the data stops on the far right there. 80 is the last number, all right? Try that again a couple of times. I go click on the first cell I want to select. I go amen, peace and love, Control Shift, down arrow. It stops where the data stops. And what I can do, I can go click on the first one like I did, go Control Shift, right down, done. I've just selected all those numbers in one go. Back to this other one where there's lots of numbers. Okay, Control Home, back to the top. So what do? You go click the first one or use your arrow keys, just come down like that, right? And I go amen, Control Shift, down arrow, done. Selected all the way down the bottom in one go. Okay, and then I can make it bold, pink, yellow, whatever it is. Control Home, back to the top. Okay, another question from Jamie. Oh, sorry, Jamie, you've overquoted. You've gone over your quote over questions. Okay, right, only joking. Jamie said, what if there's a gap in the cells? What if there's empty cells? I've already preempted that, Jamie. There it is there. So I've got gaps here. So if I go click the first one, what do? Amen, Control Shift, down, hit the down arrow, it stops where the data stops, but just keep going. Do it again, keep going, and so on. There's some gaps there. Now, if I keep going because I don't know where it stops, keep going, well, where's this gonna stop? Oh, it's gone right down to the bottom. See on the far left there, it says you're at the bottom row, very bottom row. Just go Control-Shift, up arrow. It'll deselect and come back to what I want. Now I can go bold, pink, whatever you want, Control Home. Back to there. Okay, so there's some great shortcuts here. I'll just come back here so I don't forget, and I'll change that back to my other camera as well. So hopefully people, you pick up some great shortcuts with those keyboard combinations, okay? Lots of those things. Same sort of thing happens in Word, actually. It's got the same sort of shortcut. You can play around with that. Okay, good. All right, moving right along. That's navigating and selecting cells. And by the way, there's the, I don't need that anymore, do I? Anne Rolfe said, I didn't catch how you, oh, sorry, Anne, I didn't mean to, yeah, just Anne says, I didn't catch how you caught the whole table. Well, Anne, I just went, do it again. If I go click, right, don't forget, it's just Control-Shift, okay, and then your direction keys, your normal arrow keys in the direction you want to select, Anne. So I would go off to the right first and then down. Or if I go down first, if I go Control-Shift down arrow, the arrow stops there, but those cells are already selected from B6 down to B whatever. Then I go Control-Shift right arrow. And because that group was selected to begin with, it goes across in one go. You can't use Control-A. Some people know Control-A. Why don't you use Control-A, Mark, which is a shortcut for all? Won't work in this example. I just want the numbers. I just want that there, starting with the first one, Control-Shift right down, and I just want to select those numbers so I can make those bold pinks, pink, whatever. Anne says, great. Okay, so Control-A, if I click here and go Control-A on the keyboard, see it's highlighting all of that non-breaking or grouped block, if you know what I mean. Okay, good. All right, moving right along. I'm just looking ahead, people. We might just go 5 minutes max, if that's all right. Probably 10 minutes max overdue over time, because good questions coming through. All right, using common function keys. Pretty quick, this one. Okay, so if I go back to, it's on page 20, using common function keys. Just mindful of the time, I'll go through the most important one there. When we talk about the function keys, you've got F1, F2 across the top. F1, F2, F3, F4, okay, and so on. And they are used pretty commonly through other functions or other apps, okay? Did you know the most important one there is F4, the function 4 key on the keyboard, okay? I'll write down what it does in a minute. I'm just gonna do that one for you, because that's more important than the others. Okay, so function 4 key, what the heck does that do? I'll show you. Let me do an example. Okay, let's say that I wanted to add some more columns here. Let's say I forgot to put in the previous week, you know, Sunday in before Monday here. I need to add some more columns. I don't know how many. I'm going to insert some more blank columns before column B, and the rest of it gets pushed off. So what's the shortcut for that? You put your mouse on the B column here, and I go right click on the B, and I say insert a column. And you've probably all done that before. Okay, good. Pushes everything off to the right. Now you tell me, this is not a hard question, what was the last thing I just did? What's the most recent step I just did in Excel? I added a new column. All right, so what I can do is repeat that. Let's add a new column again by pressing the F4 key. So if I go function 4 on the keyboard, bang, bang. I said bang, sorry, bang. It repeats the last step, does another column. If I press it again, another one, F4, F4, F4. I'm just pressing F4 on the keyboard. Okay, whatever the most recent step is, it repeats that last step. So I don't have to go insert a column, insert a column, insert a column, and so on. Okay, now I wouldn't do it for this one, but if I go right click here, you watch this. If I go right click, delete that column and close it up. Now, what did I just do? I deleted a column. So if I go F4, it repeats that step. And now you can see they're closing up. Delete, delete, delete. As I said, I wouldn't do it that way. I just select the blank columns. All right, good. Now, what if I insert a new row? How do you insert a brand new row? I forgot to put more expenses in. So I'm going to push all of row 7 down and the rest and put some new rows in above row 7. So you go, here's the shortcut, right click, insert a new row. So whatever you do, that is now the last step. I'm going to hit F4, 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 repeat, repeat, repeat. Yeah, that'll do. That's all the rows I need. F4, very common function key in most apps, PowerPoint, Word as well, to repeat most recent step. It's almost like the opposite of undo, most recent step. Okay, good. F4, and there's a few other little shortcuts like F7 is your spell checker and so on, but F4, the others are in the book there, you can have a look and so on. All right, I really want to move on to the other bits that are really good. I mean, this is all really good, but there's even more better bits coming up. Okay, good. Using common function keys, a couple of others, but that's the main one, F4. Okay, number 5, Speedy shortcut. Formatting, viewing data very quickly. Okay, viewing data quickly. So you've all done this before, maybe again the shortcuts and also the long cuts you might know, but that's on page 22. Okay, formatting spreadsheets quickly. Now, if I just go up here, remember that little shortcut button? Again, doesn't matter if you're following me through, just watch here first. This is my template. I haven't finished it off. Okay, obviously I haven't put the totals in, but now I need to format this. I need to make it look more presentable because at the moment it's just black and white. Okay, so as you know, you can manually go like this. Oh, let's make that bold. Let's put a nice little yellow background and let's make this and put a blue background. Now, I've got better things to do. So what I can do is, and I've got to do this manually, I've got to select like this. So just watch up here. Okay, like that down to there, the main area. And I go to that auto format button that I added and you probably added earlier if you're following me. Great way to do is just a quick color scheme, a quick template to apply as far as the colors go. I'll click that, it comes up with some built-in templates. You can't add to this list, you're just stuck with this list. I scroll down, there's a few more there, and you just go, oh yeah, I might pick the closest one that I don't mind. I don't mind that one. Purpley and gray, yeah, that'll do. Click OK, done. Okay, and that's now got the, not as much as I thought, but it's now got the format on there for the headings, and it's made auto fit and so on. I'm going to go Control Z and undo, put it back, okay? Because I know why I didn't do that properly. I'm going to get rid of this, and you watch this. I'm going to show you a bonus, which is not in the book, how to put auto sum there. See the totals down here? See Monday and its total, Tuesday and its total, Wednesday. How do you put the order? How do you use auto sum to automatically add up? You don't just select the block of numbers. I'm going to do the whole lot in one go. Bang. The totals over here I want as well. So I want to add up all of the car expenses for the week. Here's a great shortcut. You select all the numbers. With the mouse, we can go with the keyboard shortcut, but I'm going to do with the mouse, down and across. Have a look at that. What have I just selected? All of the numbers I want to add up, down and across, and I've also selected where I want the formulas to go. Okay, good. Where's auto sum? It's on the home tab. Over here, you watch this in more than one go. Bang, done. I go home early. Okay, so don't ask me to do that again. You watch the recording and let's move on. Now if I use that auto format button, and there goes a truck. Now, if I use this auto format button, I highlight all this again. Okay, good, and I go auto format. I'll use the same thing and click OK. Now, because it's got a bit more in the formulas there, it does it better, much more betterer. It formats and applies the formatting a bit better, and we can fix up the columns and all the rest of it. Okay, fixing up the columns. Notice how my columns are too narrow. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit too narrow. How do you space them out? Okay, well, you go up here, as you all know. You go in between the B and the C, for example, and go click and drag off to the right. Oh yeah, that'll do. What about the others? Well, I've got to do the same thing. So how do I make them all exactly the same width? Okay, I'll tell you. You highlight the columns first. Okay, I'll do it again. You click on the B label for the column, go click and drag off to, in this case, the G for Saturday, and then I'll go in between any two. I'll go in between any two column labels, doesn't matter, and I go click and drag. I'm using Wednesday or column D, as the reference. So a little bit wider, oh yeah, that'll do, column D, let go. But they all go the same width as column D because they're all selected. You've got to highlight them first. And that looks a lot more better because it's more even, more symmetrical. Drag that out a bit more if you want it. Okay, good. So all those little things, very useful. Okay, how to fix your column widths quickly. Okay, and then I want to zoom in and zoom out. Do we know how to zoom in and zoom out? Do we know how to do all of that? Okay, what do you do to zoom in and zoom out? I've probably been doing it a couple of times, you haven't noticed it. Bottom right-hand corner, a lot of people say, oh, you go the bottom right-hand corner and you go plus, 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 minus, no, I've got better things to do. Okay, so all you do is with the wheel on the mouse, you all know the wheel on the mouse, you just roll the wheel back and forth and that scrolls up and down. Okay, no, what you do to zoom in or out, you hold down the control key first. So if you're following me through, even if you've got nothing on your screen in Excel, hold down your control key, roll the wheel back and forth. Okay, I'm rolling it towards myself, I roll it away, and it's zooming in and it's zooming out. Okay, zoom. Okay, that's a Windows shortcut. You can't forget that shortcut because we call it control and roll, like that. Control and roll, zoom in or out. All together, class, control and roll. Okay, you got to say it like that, otherwise it doesn't work. There's a muck up of a particular thing. I'm just going to fix that up. Okay, so what's that say? Control all together and roll, like that. Means you zoom in, zoom out. It's a Windows shortcut. It works in Word, it works on your internet, it works when you're reading an email, blah, 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 as they say. Okay, good, we're getting there. Okay, as I said, this is an instant coffee version. My good old dad, he used to say, a fast game's a good game. But hang on, can you do all that again? Well, you have to look at the video and with some popcorn or something. Okay, good. All right, we're getting there. So 2 more to go. Managing sheets quickly. Managing sheets. I'm just going to show you what we do. We do a lot more on this in the main sessions that we run. We've got an Excel intermediate session which goes into more of this than I'm going to show you now. But I'm just going to give you a nice little taste and more than that, and you'll be able to use this. So managing sheets on page 25. What the heck does that mean? Okay, it means this. I've got these sheets down the bottom. Okay, hopefully we don't get the sheets with it all. Okay, so what I've got is, I'm just get rid of that. Okay, I'll get rid of that as well. Okay, let's say, again, I haven't got Sunday in there, but it doesn't matter. Let's say that this my weekly expenses. Okay, let's pretend that this is for my first week. I'm going to go click here, type in week 1. So I'm going to manage or track or analyze my expenses for each week of the year. What's the next one going to look like? What's week 2 going to look like? It's going to look exactly the same as this, unless I have some different expenses. It's going to look exactly the same, but have different numbers. So what I'll do down here, there's the name of the sheet. How do we rename a sheet? You double click, and I'll call it week 1, enter. Okay, good, week 1, and there's week 1 up there. Okay, and I've got other sheets there, I know. Okay, but I'm just going to use those for other Speedy shortcuts in a minute. So week 1, now what did I say before? Week 2 has to be created as a separate sheet. And that's a better idea, isn't it? To organize your data better, have them on separate sheets, each week, each month, whatever. But here's the dilemma. How do I create an exact copy of this week 1 sheet? An exact copy and call it week 2. Anybody want to tell me? What you don't do, I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't click select all. So watch this very carefully and never do it. You don't click select all and go right click copy. Then you don't go to another existing sheet or create a blank one, go right click paste. Very dangerous, takes too long. No, all you do is the shortcut. And what you do is you put your mouse on the sheet tab down here, I call it week 1, hold down the control key, and I click and drag that tab, that sheet tab, off to the right a little bit with the control key still held down. And then I let go of the mouse, bang. And I like this little one, it's called week 1, the sequel. Week 1, number 2 is created, bang, automatically. And it's pushed the others off to the right. The next one's this one, okay? So if I do that again, if I go click on the sheet tab, control and drag, there you go, number 3, and it's pushing off the others, control and drag. I'm holding down the control key and I'm dragging at the same time, creating more and more copies of that exact same sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to go through and double click and rename week 2, double click week 3, and away we go. And obviously we change the heading up the top here. There's my quick sort of workbook. There's my more, that's very good. There's more of my sheets for more what? More weeks, more months, more days, whatever way that you're using sheets in Excel, that's the best way to do it. And as you might know, you can right click that one and give it a different color. It's always a good idea to color code your tabs. So right click, tab color, red, and it draws my eye to it. I can work much more better with these sheets and tabs, and away we go. Okay, a lot more things you can do, by the way. Like for example, I'm sorry to whet your appetites and be a bit of a salesman, but in the intermediate session we run, we do another sheet and we call it totals. So the last sheet I want here, all up, is called totals, and we look at how to add the previous sheet. So if I want a consolidated sheet at the end of my months or my weeks, there's a great way to do that, great shortcut to do that. But anyway, more about that later. Okay, good. All right, so any other questions there on sheets and managing sheets quickly? So that's a good one. Write that one down. You just control, if you don't hold the control key down, if I just went week 2 and I don't hold the control key and drag it, it just moves it. I can change the order of it. See, week 2 was there now. So I would drag it right back to the first one. Okay, so you can move these around. So you can change or have the most recent one as the last sheet or whatever it might be. But with the control key held down, that's how you do the copy. All right, people, Speedy shortcut number 7. Okay, this is now, I'm going to give you about 3 seconds break because almost leaving the last, or I should say the best, yeah, well, I'm leaving the last one for last. Leaving the best one for last. We've got 7 Speedy shortcuts. This is the last one, obviously. Manipulating, fixing data properly. Okay, so again, if you are following me through, just while I'm raving on, just go into a bit of a file, okay, and back to here, and I've got some dummy data here. So I've got my little tab here, Speedy shortcut number 7. Just an example. And even if you were following, just watch here anyway, okay? Because I reckon you're going to use this more so than whatever, okay? So here's some typical data. I've got this thing here, I've called it our personnel data. And instead of lots of numbers and figures, look at what we've got here. We've got lots of names. I've got my personnel, my client names, my product names, whatever. I've got the position in the company. I've got the department, whatever it might be. And I have got some salaries and so on. Okay, some figures. And the common thing, and by the way, this is only one problem that you've seen that we can fix up. Okay, as I said earlier, in the summary, I've got all the names, the full name, first name, last name, in the one column. There's David Price, Karen Davidson, whatever, Alex Hodge, and so on. And you go, oh no, here it goes. I've got to do all this again. Okay, because of the way it's exported out of your other system. And we've got to manipulate this. We've got to, I don't know, what do we have to do? We have to split the names. That's one example. So I want David here, Price there in a new column. I want Karen there, and so on. So all the first names in one column, all the last names in another column. What you don't do is you don't go here, data, split, or text to columns. Okay, I've got better things to do because there's more things I might need to do. So for example, my boss says, or I find out, I'll just control and roll, zoom in so you can see it better. Okay, so the boss says, or we all know now, Mark, all these names, for example, David Price, we need to convert that into this format. I'll just type it here. I'll just put it here and show you, just in a blank cell here. So David Price on the left here, I need that name looking like this. Okay, so that's his last name first in capital letters, then with a comma, right, and a space, and then what's his first name? David. So I want D for David and a full stop. D for David. Okay, so a very common format that I need to convert it to. Okay, so some people say, why, Mark? Why do you want to convert it to that? Well, because I need to. Okay, in our little example, we need to convert it so we can push it back into the system and re-merge it, whatever it might be. Okay, but if Barney Rubble's in there down the bottom, I need it like this. Rubble, all capital letters, the last name first, and a comma and a space. Barney, B for Barney, B full stop. So that's just showing you what I need to convert all those names into their equivalents. Okay, anybody want to tell me how you do that in the old days? In the old days, you'd need lots of formulas. Text to columns, uppercase, extract, this and that. No, you don't. You watch this. Okay, so just watch this carefully, and I'm just going to make some room first. Now you're going to make some room. So right-click, insert. And what was that shortcut, that function key shortcut? I'm going to make some more room to repeat what I just did. F4, very good. And there we go. Okay, good. Just to make some more room, I don't need to, but I'll make an extra blank column there. Okay, so how do we convert all those names into what I showed you? Okay, you watch this. We go click, and we type it in. Type in the first one, price with a comma and a D full stop. Okay, good, press enter. Okay, what do we start doing for the next one? We start typing the same thing for the next example. What is it, Karen Davidson? So I'll type in what? D-A-V for Davidson. You watch this, D-A-V. And in the blink of an eye, what's happened there? Excel has picked up the pattern. And it's given me as a preview in gray the rest of it. Okay, and I just quickly look at it and I go, yep, that's correct, enter, done. All right, Control End on the keyboard to get to the bottom, and I'll go across quickly just to show you at the bottom. There's Hilda Wolf, yeah, it worked, Wolf dash, whatever, comma, and so on. All the others got converted in the correct way. All right, now what's our next important step that you can write down? Our next important step is go home early. Okay, oh, where's this been all my life? Okay, so very good, very useful. I bet you can use that, okay? And we print it, save it, whatever it might be. I'm gonna go click here and go delete. Someone's gonna say, well, how do you split the names? Well, you type them in. You watch this. I need to split David, Price, and all the rest of it into David there, Price there, and so on. I just go click, I type it in, David. Press enter, type the next one, Karen. Start typing Karen, Excel's picked up the pattern. Press enter, come across to here, do all the first names first and then the last names. Price, type in Davidson, bang, all done. And then again, I go home. Okay, good. All right, what if you started with this? Last one to show you, the last example. What if I opened up the data, people, and it looks like this? It's the other way. What if I opened up the data, our personnel, and it's got the first name and the last name separate? And I need to go the other way. I need to join the two together into a new column. How do you join two things together and combine them into a new column? Some people would know about concatenate. Ariane says, amazing. Okay, you haven't seen anything yet. Okay, so last thing. So I go right click, insert. Okay, how do we join, concatenate? What's he talking about, concatenate? Yeah, there's a formula there which is hard to use called concatenate to join the two together. Give me David Price, for example, all right? No, I've got better things to do. You type it in, David Price, enter. That's it. Then I start typing Karen Davidson, and there you go, it's not working. Okay, this is live television. Okay, why is it not working? I probably waited too long. Okay, so I'll show you what happens as a bit of a bonus, what you do to fix that up. I'll just go right click, insert, and I'll do another one, F4. Okay, just to give me a bit more room. So give me some fighting room. David Price, press enter, Karen, now it's come up. So I sort of let Excel have a bit of a break. Press enter, the rest is done. Okay, and so if it doesn't work, just delete what you've done, more or less start again, and Excel does it for you. Amazing, that's right, Ariane, I agree. Okay, so, and there's a lot more you can do with that feature, okay, which we can and do cover in other sessions. All right, people, so that's all right, good, that's good. Okay, so we've done the nice little thingy. I'll just bring back my camera in a second. So quick roundup, I just want to summarize the big picture of what you've just learned. And Anne says Fabo. Gee, Anne, Fabo, I haven't heard that one before or for a while. Okay, review, set up your quick access toolbar. I'll just bring back my camera. Okay, that's going to save you lots of time and space and room. Okay, set up your quick access toolbar, navigate your cells with those shortcuts. Remember that? A-man, Peace Baby, Control Shift and arrow keys. Select cells for that. Use your data entry, formula shortcuts. Format and view data. A couple of little things in that exercise number, whatever it was, 5 I left out, but you can have a look at the book. Okay, and go through it. Manage your sheets, copying them. You can add up across sheets as well and manipulate your data. Okay, like I just showed you. Okay, and that's only just come in, by the way, that thing with the David Price example. Only just the last couple of versions. So it hasn't been there all the time in Excel. Most of the others have. Okay, good. Your cheat sheet's on page 9 in the book. Okay, and on page 10 is the actual summary. So I'm not going to go through there. Ariane, yep, it's 1202. It says 302, but it's 1202. Where are you, Ariane? You're in Venezuela somewhere. Okay, so on page 10, WA. Okay, good. Long way away. Have been there before. WA, good. Okay, so I'm not going to go through it. On page 10 reminds you or lists all the formulas there, all the shortcuts that we went through, okay? And continuing with that last bit. Okay, Sarah says, looking forward to great some online sessions. Okay, good. Now, bit of an action plan. You can practice this, apply the tips, view the recording. So just hang on 2 more minutes. I'll show you how to get the recording and other sessions. Now, just for you lovely people out there, I've got those other sessions, we've got other things like SharePoint and OneDrive and Teams, but almost done. The recording, this is how you get the recording. Okay, you'll get an email tomorrow with a link at the bottom there saying watch recording, and that link will show up the video and you can fast forward. It doesn't expire. You can just watch it whenever you want, fast forward to the good jokes and whatever, and also other bits and pieces you need to go back over. Okay, good. So finally, thanks for your attendance. If you wouldn't mind just opening up that little survey will come up automatically and so on. And there's the proper dates. No, it's not. It didn't get updated. Okay, sorry. But there's the link there. Okay, so if you just go to that link, you've got a week to think about it, just to helping your time management, early bird rate, and you'll see the proper dates there. And also you can look at the content of what we cover and so on. Okay. So Mark Mannering signing off. If you've got any questions, just email me on mark@classtraining.com.au. Glenn says, thanks, Mark, and all the best. Have a good day. And keep in touch. If you've got any questions, just let me know and so on. But please fill in that little survey and we might see you again soon with the early bird offer. Take care. Bye.